Talk Real Estate with Sharon McNamara, sponsored by Boston Connect Real Estate Services.
Hi, I'm your host, Sharon McNamara, and you are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. Let me share a little bit about my background before we get started. I am the broker-owner of Boston Connect Real Estate, a boutique firm that is home to over 30 real estate sales and marketing agents who service home buyers and home sellers throughout Boston, the South Shore, the South Coast, and Cape Cod. Our firm takes pride in assisting our clients in the next chapter of their lives by taking a holistic approach to their real estate endeavors. We believe that every move should be a moving experience. Every week, my co-host Melissa Wallace and I will provide you with my team's unique marketing approach to selling homes and share with you our expertise in navigating the home buying process. We value the experience of our agents at Boston Connect Real Estate so much that not only will you hear my perspective on real estate topics, occasionally you will hear the expert thoughts and opinions of our experienced agents at Boston Connect Real Estate. Be a part of our roundtable. If you have any questions during the show, please call 781-837-4900. We love to talk real estate. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever you like to listen to podcasts at Talk Real Estate Roundtable. If you would like a one-on-one consultation with me and my team to discuss your real estate needs, you can connect with me at bostonconnect.com or 781-826-8000. Now, sit back, relax, take good notes, and let's talk real estate.
And hello to all my South Shore neighbors. You are listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. My name is Melissa Wallace, and I am joined by the one and only Kristen Howlett.
Hello.
My co-host this evening.
How are you?
I'm good. I am going to call out Larry, though. So I called into the studio this morning to give a little sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about. And probably 6 or 7 times he called me Michelle. And I like,
oh, hello, Michelle.
I was like, Larry, you've known me for 7 years. Why do you keep calling me Michelle?
Michelle on his...
Yeah. Whoever Michelle is, good for you. I mean, but he called me about 6 or 7 times this morning. So I was like, I didn't call him out then because it was like his show. But now that it's my show, I can say, no. And Larry, pull it together. It was funny. Mary was sitting next to me. She was dying laughing. We had a good laugh this morning. We needed it. But yes, I am joined live in studio by my co-host this evening, Kristen Howlett.
Gorgeous out tonight.
It is gorgeous. I know. I wish we could do the show outside. Do you think we could figure that out?
We totally, 100%.
If we plant that little seed in Sharon's head, she probably would
make
do
it happen.
Although now it's the end of summer, so like we should have done that in the beginning of summer.
But we could do a nice fall day.
I know.
Yeah.
I mean, fall is my jam. I love fall. So tonight we are sort of. You have
I'm
like this
so
smirk.
excited.
You have this smirk on your face, and if you are following us on Facebook, we are live on Facebook. So Boston Connect Real Estate. Yeah, share it. But yeah, so this morning when I talked to Larry as Michelle, I gave them a little sneak peek of what we're going to be talking about tonight, and we are sort of showcasing a new segment.
Here we are, yes.
Yeah, we're going to be showcasing a new segment. So Kristen, you join me all the time anyways. You're like my honorary Tuesday night co-host at this point. You should just say that you host the show all the time. Forever. No, you're not a fill-in.
I am.
No, you're like a co-host, okay? Stop calling yourself a fill-in. But this was sort of your idea, and we're rolling with it. So,
I love this idea.
Although you do join me all the time, you are committing to doing at least one Tuesday night show with me every single month. And why don't you, well, before we get into the topic, in case somebody hasn't heard you on the show before, why don't you reintroduce yourself to all of our listeners?
My name is Kristen Marie Howlett. My cousin Susan Butler is calling me right now. I need to decline her.
Decline.
Butler, I'll call you later. Kristen Marie Howlett. I am a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. I service anywhere in Massachusetts. And yes, I serve sellers, buyers. I'm currently looking for renters. I'm trying to assist a client help her son move into a rental. So yeah, I do everything. You name it, I'll do it.
You name it, you do it.
My phone number is 617-448-4896. And my email is Kristen@BostonConnect.com. Okay, yesterday, listen.
You're saying it with like a question mark, like asking me what it is.
Yesterday, there was something wrong with my mouth and my tongue. I kept stuttering all day. I couldn't even talk. I was talking to a new client, and I sounded so inexperienced.
Not professional.
Oh my gosh, I couldn't stop stuttering. Nothing was flowing. You know what my issue was. It was just
well, let's hope that it doesn't carry on to the show, because this is your baby. I'm just going to call it your baby to everybody, okay? So you have this wonderful idea to come on the show. At least you're committing to at least once a month coming on with me on Tuesdays. We have not figured out a name for this segment, and we're calling it a segment even though we're going to do it for the whole entire show. So I feel like it's a show, not a segment, but
like
special edition.
That's it. Yeah.
South of Boston special edition or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
But why don't you give our listeners what we're going to be talking about? What is this new segment that we're going to be doing?
So since I am the self-proclaimed director of community liaison service outreach.
And on the forms committee.
And I'm on the forms committee. I thought it would be fun to kind of get out and explore this beautiful community that we live in.
Yeah.
We're always talking about things, and we talk real estate, and you guys do a good job of like educating people, but I thought it would be fun to just kind of highlight the towns that we serve the most.
Yeah, it's almost like, yes, we sell real estate and we help people purchase, but like what happens after the closing? Like when you're living in these towns, and I think a lot of buyers in the past couple of years, because of low inventory and because of COVID and everything we went through, they were purchasing in towns that maybe they weren't thinking about purchasing before. So they had to expand their sort of buying palette and decide, okay, yeah, maybe, this town is, good for my budget and good for my living situation and whatever. And they were able to purchase a home in that town, but maybe they're not so familiar with it. So, we're starting off, we'll say it, we're starting off with Bridgewater. And why are we starting off with Bridgewater?
Because I live in Bridgewater.
Oh, you do.
And it's funny, I've been thinking probably for the past week that I live in Bridgewater. Trish and Nick Flynn also, who are full-time realtors here at Boston Connect, are also Bridgewater residents. So I know for me sometimes, because the office is in Pembroke and I spend so much time here and we're so hyper-focused on Pembroke, that sometimes I love Pembroke. I feel like it's definitely my second community, but like Bridgewater's my home. Yeah. So I want to be able to talk about, as much as I love Pembroke, there's a lot of things that I feel like I don't fit where Bridgewater is.
Well, it's not just like your life is in Bridgewater. It's not just your business. Your business is really all over Massachusetts. I mean, you can sell anything anywhere in Massachusetts, and you're getting Rhode Island, right? Okay. I'm holding you to that. Yeah. We're going for a broker's license, and we're getting Rhode Island.
Holy, you just put that out in the universe. Oh my God.
Someone's got to hold us to it. Yeah, we're trying to expand into Rhode Island. But like I said, your life, you personally raised your family. You're open about that on the show. So you raised your family. You've chosen to live there. When did you buy your house?
We bought when Jake was 6 months old. So we built.
Yeah.
So we've been there almost 23 years.
Yeah. So you have decided to live your life in Bridgewater.
I came to Bridgewater kicking and screaming.
Why?
I wanted... Brian literally bought the house without even saying a word to me.
I remember you telling me this a couple months ago.
And said, I bought this house. And, I never pictured, I didn't know anything about Bridgewater. I didn't know anything about, I knew nothing about it. And I did a lot of walking when we lived in Randolph. We bought the house that I grew up in. My dad had passed away, so we ended up buying that house and we did it over. And I walked everywhere. Yeah. And I loved being like so close to the commuter rail, and like I could throw Jake in the carriage and we could go up to, Randolph Center. And I knew we weren't going to live
there forever.
But I thought we'd be in like Weymouth or Braintree or Milton or somewhere. And
because it's sort of like
that was familiar.
Same living style in a sense.
So it was far, and there was nowhere to walk. There was nowhere. But Bridgewater turned out to be a really great place for me to raise my kids. Yeah. It was a great
And I'm surprised you
town.
said that there's nowhere to walk, because you live in a community where I feel like you could walk.
we walked, but there was no destination. Like, in order for me to walk to the center of town, there was, like, it would take me, 3 hours to probably walk up there.
and then Brian would have to come and pick you up.
When the kids were little, we would walk to Dunkin' Donuts once in a while, or like, my kids would walk to Prisco's, but we never really, in Randolph, I could walk up to CVS and get some stuff, and I could go and, walk around.
Yeah. It was a different sort of lifestyle, but you don't regret moving.
No, not at all. No.
But that's the thing. Like, that's what I was saying. So, you didn't. Brian purchased the house and said, "Hey, we're going to build in Bridgewater," and you're like, "Where?" And you weren't familiar with Bridgewater. I feel like a lot of the times, especially in the past couple of years, buyers are buying in places that they might not be familiar with. So we are going to take the time at least once a month to sort of highlight one of these towns. So South Shore, South Coast, south of Boston will stay. And sort of just highlight what makes that town so great. And we're going to be highlighting. I want to
think of it like a zip trip.
Yeah, but I don't know if we can call it a zip trip.
No, it's not. But
I think that's already
it's kind of like the idea of the zip trip.
Yeah.
Because I want it to be so popular that every.
Oh, where are they going next? I know. Well, we sort of have an idea of where we want to go next month, but if you are listening and you have a suggestion, or you're watching us on Facebook, you can call into the studio 781-837-4900, or comment on our live video. Where should we go next month? But we should get into Bridgewater. So we chose Bridgewater because that's where you live. That's where you've decided to live your life with your family.
Let's say I'm a Bridgewater.
You're a Bridgewater expert. And what makes Bridgewater so great?
Bridgewater is, well, you know what? It's a small town. Like I said, it was a really nice family town. I love the quirky things about it. I love everybody. Nobody likes Bridgewater Center. I love Bridgewater. I like walking around Bridgewater Center. We have a lot of great...
It's funny because Larry mentioned Bridgewater Center this morning because he was like, "Oh, Bridgewater is such a great town." Blah blah blah. Like, I love the center in there, and you can walk around. And I was like, "Perfect, Larry. Tune in tonight."
And Bridgewater's doing a lot of revitalization. They just redid the, our town hall was redone. There's, I should know this. There's a building next to the fire station that's being redone right now. So they're doing a lot of the historic buildings over. There was
Is that part of Bridgewater State? That building that's next to the...
No.
Okay.
The old town hall was originally, it should be on here, the Bridgewater Academy, which there is a little bit of history on that one.
Yeah.
And it has a beautiful waterfall in the front, and, hold on.
Where is that located? So my connection to Bridgewater. So if you're not familiar where Bridgewater is, it's about 25 miles south of Boston.
Yep.
And I went to Bridgewater State University. So I went to Florida Southern, and then I transferred to Bridgewater State. And although I didn't live on campus, I had an apartment in East Bridgewater. I loved going, I would walk from, even though I drove to school, I would walk from the school to the town center to, places.
I love living in a college town. Yeah. And it's funny, when we first moved to Bridgewater.
Mostly because there was traffic and I didn't want to sit in it. So I was like, I'm just going to walk. And, and everybody did. Everybody was walking.
I love when some people will complain that there's a little bit more traffic and you have to stop at the stop signs and, let them
Well, it's
pedestrians.
the law. You should stop at the stop signs.
But you know what? There's an energy with the kids when they're on campus. Like, we always went to St. Basil's, which is on BSU, and there really is an energy with the kids there that is, I love that.
Yeah.
But when we first moved to Bridgewater, I knew somebody that worked at BSU, and her husband was an author, and he wrote a kind of like an autobiography, and in it he said, Bridgewater is not a college town, it's a town with a college.
I love that.
Well, it can be a little bit, but
no,
you don't love it. I don't feel like Bridgewater embraced the college. I feel like, you know what I mean? I feel we should have a Starbucks.
Okay, so
now we have Russian coffee.
Well, yeah, I know. We're going to get into that. Yeah. So I think that this is a great dynamic right here because you're a Bridgewater resident and I was a college student in Bridgewater. So
did you feel accepted by the?
Did I feel accepted by the residents? When I was a student, I didn't really notice or pay attention to if you lived in Bridgewater or not. Like, I was living in East Bridgewater, commuting just one town over, and I met my best friend Jess. She grew up in Bridgewater. Her mom is actually a bartender at Barrett's in Bridgewater. So shout out to Ginny. Woo-hoo. You know Ginny, right? That was sort of my connection. And so, but I always just felt, I worked in a restaurant in East Bridgewater. A lot of Bridgewater residents would come in and they just knew me. And I sort of didn't feel the disconnect. But do you think other people do?
I don't know. I think that, okay, here's another. I'm getting off track. This is another. Once my kids started getting older, what I also realized, and I thought that this said a lot for the community, is people chose, they lived in Bridgewater. They grew up in Bridgewater. They may have moved, their lives took them other places, but when it came to settle down, they came back.
Yeah.
And we know so many people, and I thought that says a lot for Bridgewater.
My friend Jess, again, she grew up in Bridgewater, and she said the same thing.
Yeah.
So now she is raising her family in East Bridgewater, but her mom still lives in Bridgewater. Her sister lives in Bridgewater. And she just knows so many people who either stayed or left and came back. So, I mean, I feel like that says a lot.
I think that speaks volumes.
And there's so much to do, too. And why don't we get into what you can do there? So we'll highlight some of the businesses. So let's
talk a little bit about the history, too, of Bridgewater, which Melissa was right. It is a town located, it's in Plymouth County. As of the 2020 U.S. Census, the population was 28,633. That's pretty big, right?
I don't really know.
So in 1970, the year I was born, it was 12,911.
Oh, okay.
So it is located approximately 25 miles south of Boston and 35 miles east of Providence. It was established as part of Duxbury in 1645.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. It was placed in Plymouth County. So a couple of fun things about Bridgewater is a lot of people talk about the Bridgewater Triangle.
Yeah, what is that? Oh, well, I don't know. Are we supposed to?
Supernatural.
Yeah. So it's like...
There's a podcast on Apple Podcasts.
I'm sure Mary has listened to it. Yeah.
It's very interesting. My kids always tease me because one night we were driving home. So one of the things that, one of the urban legends, urban myths, is that there are things called puckwedgies that are these little creatures that almost look like...
What?
Yeah, Google it. Dead serious. Yeah. It's and I told my kids one night we were on our way home from the pool club and it was dark and I swore I saw a puckwedgie.
What is it? Just like a little creature?
Yeah.
Like a troll?
I'll pull it up on my phone.
No,
it's like
I don't want to see it.
Yeah. No, they're cute. They're cute. And they're not... And
they're
people
not real.
have said that they've interacted them.
Oh. In the triangle?
In the Bridgewater Triangle.
Oh. Okay.
Well, Bridgewater Triangle is like, there's portions of East Bridgewater, West Bridgewater, and Bridgewater. But in particular, Bridgewater, there is a documentary, and somebody says that night, they had an encounter with a puck.
Well, I'll have to check that out then. Take your word for it, because I don't know if I want to see it. But yeah, okay. So I don't really know much about the Bridgewater Triangle, but I have heard about it. Like I've heard little bits and pieces
like
about it. Supernatural stuff that goes on. But and I do believe in all that stuff. But I think it happens everywhere. I think it happens all around you.
So, like you said, Bridgewater also houses Bridgewater State University.
Yes.
I wish we had more facts on Bridgewater State. What is Bridgewater State known for? It's education.
It's like
education and business.
Well, I was part of the business school.
Oh, criminal justice.
Nursing.
It's a big criminal justice,
I think they have a nursing program. I think at one point it was a big nursing program. Yeah, but education, criminal justice, I was part of the business program. So business and marketing, finance was my realm. But, you just like any other college, you're pretty much only interacting with the people who have the same major as you. In Bridgewater State, it was so big. I went to Florida Southern for my first 2 years, and I think there was less than 3,000 students in the entire school. And then I went to Bridgewater State, and I was like, there's probably 3,000 students with like the same class as me.
Yeah.
No, not really, but like the same major or whatever. But yeah, once I like started going there, like pretty much I would have the same, you'd start to see the same faces over and over again. And I still keep in touch with some. I mean, I graduated in 2014, 13, what, how old am I? 10 years ago. So yeah. And I didn't realize that until I just said that. And I was like, I graduated 10 years. Yeah, I'm getting old.
Well, also, living in Bridgewater, as a resident of Bridgewater, we got a lot of perks from students at the college. Like, especially when the kids were little, there were kids that were students that were in, some sort of an education program, and they would do programs at the library.
Yeah, I do know that. And also being a student, and I hope that they still do this because this was really beneficial for me. We would have like, and I don't know even the term, it's just like money on your card, like your school card.
Oh, yeah.
And a lot of the local businesses took the school
they still
card.
Do that.
Yeah. So that was super helpful for me because I would be on campus.
I think it's the Bridgewater Connect card or something.
Yeah, something like that. And I'm sure I still have mine somewhere in a box. But, I could go to CVS, I could go to the coffee shop, I could go to the gas station and use my card.
Well, we're going to talk about this, but Brian was so upset the other night because he went to Fiestas. He's obsessed with Fiestas. Has a little, like a remote location now in Bridgewater. Yeah. It's behind Lucky Star gas station, and it's kind of like a Chipotle, but even better because it's authentic.
Because it's Fiestas.
But he was out of his mind the other night because he went there and all the college kids were back, and it was so long. The line was so long.
I wonder if they take the card.
Oh, I'm sure they probably do.
So I know we're talking about Bridgewater, but in East Bridgewater, there's Fiestas, and we love to frequent there. I was just there the other night with my friend Dave, and like we order the same exact thing every single time. We order the same margarita every single time. It's just always so good. We've had a few too many drinks there, you and I, and and a couple
every
other people.
time I go there, it's like, oh god, yeah.
We love it. We love it. So when you told me that they were opening up like a to-go place in Bridgewater, I was like, oh my gosh, that I'm gonna go there all the time.
From CVS where Bogart's used to be.
Yeah.
They just redid that all over, and actually, it's a local family, 2 local families that. Actually invested in it. And originally the talk was that restaurant was going to be a Mexican restaurant.
Yeah.
But we don't know now because now there's actually there's another one like right down the street. Or maybe it's a Brazilian place. I can't remember.
Oh, is that in the old Friendlies?
Across from Friendlies.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I don't know where everyone's so anxious to see. They did some apartments up top, like some really nice apartments. When Bogart's was there, Bogart's had fabulous pizza. Really good pizza.
I only went there once, and that was to pick someone up who had too much to drink.
Wait, you never went to Bogart's?
No, I went to Bogart's once when I think.
Wait, I thought that was a big BSU place, like
even
before Bogart's.
But I graduated in 2014, and it closed shortly after. I feel like. No?
Oh, maybe. Yeah. And then it reopened.
But I had only gone there once, and I was literally in my pajamas, thinking I was going to get out of my car, but then I had to go and find somebody. So I was being the responsible one in the middle of Bogart's.
Well, when Ava
I had already gotten that partying out of my system. So
when Ava was she was doing Girl Scouts. Sometimes we would drop the girls off at Girl Scouts and so we had to stay, and then we would go to Bogart's and have drinks.
Okay. Well, we're keeping it real.
You got to do.
You got to do what you got to. I'm sure. But when you just said apartments over there, so Bridgewater is a really great place to own an investment property.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah. So although I did rent as a student at Bridgewater State, I rented in East Bridgewater just because, and I think they still do this too. Bridgewater State has a website that local homeowners or landlords can go through, and they'll like sort of I don't know, like pre-check you.
Yep.
Pre-check you, and you can. There's like this website where you can go and find an apartment that are specifically looking for students of Bridgewater State. So that was super helpful for me because I was coming from Florida. I mean, I grew up in Weymouth, grew up in Massachusetts, so I'm familiar with the area. But coming from another school, I was like, I don't know where I'm gonna live.
Well, it's funny that you say that because I reached out when I had one. I had a listing on South Street and then one on Library Place, and both times, anything up in the center, I think college. I think of a professor or someone who might, and so I've reached out to them twice to see if they had any, not so much the students' housing, but more something that they could, maybe they do have somebody who's faculty who's just moving here, who needs to purchase something. So I did show Library Place. Ironically, it was a librarian who was coming to Bridgewater State. Nice to work there, but anyway,
that was a beautiful listing that you had.
Oh, beautiful!
But yeah, and I don't even know if it's on our list, but Bridgewater is a really great town to purchase an investment property if you're thinking to, rent to a college student. And I know it can be scary, I know it, but take it from me personally, like I was a very responsible renter. I ended up staying in my apartment 2 years after I had even graduated. I think I ended up being there for 4 years. And they kept increasing the rent except for mine, because they were like, we'll take care of you. You've been taking care of me. Yeah. So, so that was super helpful. Again, so if you do invest in a property that you want to rent out, reach out to the college because there is that website. But sorry, I got off topic. We were talking about dropping our kids off.
Some of the things that I love about living in Bridgewater is I like its proximity. What I didn't like when we first moved there, I ended up loving because, of course, now everything changes. I love how close we are. We can hop on 44 and be in Plymouth in 20, 25 minutes. Yeah. I love being close to Cape Cod, so you can just hop on 495. I love being able to go to the beach and be there in less than 30 minutes. I love also that there's a commuter rail. So my kids, even when they were younger, like 7th and 8th grade, I encouraged them. I'm like, hey, you want to get out of here? Learn how to take the train. I would take them on the train. We would take the commuter rail. They'd learn. One time, Ava was like, all right, I'm ready to do it by myself. I said, okay. And then we got lost, so she couldn't do it. Oh. But my kids were always the kids that, like, I trusted. I'm like, if you want to, in high school, if you want to get out of here, you can take the commuter rail, go into Boston, and come home. But you're going to do it yourself. Like, I'd rather you take the train than drive. Yeah. So I like that you can commute. It's a good commuter town. Yeah. I loved Bridgewater State. We also house Bridgewater State Hospital, which is the prison. Also,
another phone call.
Yeah. The other thing I love about it is Lake Nipponicket. We're big kayakers.
Yeah, you are.
We love, Brian and I will go to the Nip, and it's easy. There's like a little boat ramp, and that's an area that I didn't know about when we moved to Bridgewater, and had I known, I probably would have waited and tried to find something close to the Nip. My friend Katie Sarro, her son is Owen's age. He just graduated. He's a year older, actually. But she always posts her morning walks with her dog on the Nip, and it's like, how could you be in a bad mood when you wake up to that? Yeah. Just this little body of water, that has these amazing sunrises and sunsets. And
well, that sounds perfect. How do you sign up for that? Okay, I know you want to highlight some of the local businesses. So where do you want to start with?
I think we should talk about the what's available right now. So the Bridgewater real estate market.
Okay, we can do that instead.
Yeah. And then we can talk about, the highlights.
Okay.
So right now there are 28 active listings in Bridgewater. 2 are condos, single family, 28 single family, 2 condos. There are 24 homes, single family homes under agreement, 5 condos under agreement.
So under agreement meaning that they have an accepted offer on it.
Exactly. Single family and condo homes sold in 2023, so far 161. In 2022, 231.
Yeah. So obviously a lot more last year.
Single family and condo homes sold in the month of August, 23. Single family condo homes sold in the month of September so far, 13. So we wanted to highlight a couple of listings, active listings.
Yes. Okay. So, I'll do this one.
Yep.
So Jess Page, who is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate, has
I actually
a
printed
listing.
These MLS sheets. I'm going to grab them.
Good. She has a listing at 20 Partridge Trail in Bridgewater. That is 4 bedrooms, 3 baths. It is on the market for $625. Again, Jess Page, she is a full-time realtor here at Boston Connect Real Estate. You have the MLS sheet for it. But if everybody can go to bostonconnect.com and find the information out, and we can even give her a little, I can bring up her phone number. But Again, 20 Partridge Trail in Bridgewater, 625. It's a colonial 2-car garage. I mean, this is cute.
Yeah, it's a great one. I thought I had buyers for it, and Jess and I talked about it. Has like an expansive garage.
Yeah.
I think that the current owner had a golf simulator in there. But yeah, Partridge Trail is a great neighborhood. It's close to East Bridgewater. But I also think of it like more on like going on the way to Halifax.
Yeah.
So it's a great little neighborhood.
Nice. 186 Crescent Street. That's 3 beds, 2 baths. It's on the market for $479,900. It's not a Boston Connect listing, but we could certainly show it.
Of course.
188 Hayward Street, 2 bed, 1 bath. That's on for $479,900. And 1000 High Street, 3 beds, 2 baths. That's on for $549,900.
Yeah, that's a really cute one too. So the last 3 are ranches, and this one,
which everybody wants a ranch right now.
Double demographic, right?
Yeah. You've got the first-time home buyers, and you have the right sizers.
Everybody wants that primary bedroom with no stairs, so that's a good one. So those are 4 great listings that are currently available in the wonderful town of Bridgewater.
And you can show them, right?
Sure can.
Okay, and how do people get in touch with you?
They call me. And 617-448-4896.
One more time.
617-448-4896.
So I mean, and you can see anything really. I mean, those are the 4. But even if you're thinking about selling, you live in Bridgewater, you're thinking about selling, even though you love Bridgewater so much, you can give Kristen a call as well. And you can find all of her contact information on BostonConnect.com. And you can find these listings too.
We have Cochise Estates in West Bridgewater, but the same builder, Stonebridge Homes, is also building in Duxborough, in a great community up, brand new construction.
Yeah.
Off of Curve Street in Bridgewater.
Yeah. All right, are you ready to move on to I feel like this was the highlight for you. Is highlighting some of these businesses. So, what are some of your favorite businesses? Being a Bridgewater resident, what are they?
I love Restoration Coffee.
I do too.
I love a Page.
You know why I love them? Because they have vegan butter.
Yeah.
I can't have dairy. So I love it. I'll go in there and get an iced coffee with soy milk, and I'll get a bagel with vegan butter. I love
Restoration. Even before it was Restoration, it was Better Bean, and that was pretty cool too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Restoration is one of my favorites. The Juice Mill right down the street. So this is all in Bridgewater Center. We have the little Rotary right there. In the middle of the Rotary in the wintertime, they do Christmas on the Common, which is really fun. The kids all used to do that when they were little. They have the Bridgewater Business.
The Better Business?
It's Bridgewater Business Association. But yeah, everything's right in that little town common, which is super cute. And right across from CBS, where we were talking, right next to Bogart's, is a new place called Boundless Bean. And they are known.
Yeah, I'm assuming that's a coffee shop too.
And they are known for their cinnamon buns.
Oh, I love a good cinnamon
When
bun.
I went, they were out of the cinnamon buns.
No.
Yes. But that's
we'll have to make a special trip down there.
Yep, that's a great one. And then Fiesta's Takeout, which we said. You got to go there and get a burrito bowl.
Yeah. Do they only do like bowls?
No, you can get burritos. Yep, you can get mostly anything. I got street corn dip. Yeah. Yeah.
My gosh. I need it.
It's a limited menu.
Yeah. Well, I would imagine it's just a takeout area.
Yep.
But if you can experience the full Fiesta experience going to East Bridgewater.
I don't think they serve margarita.
No, I'm saying go to the East Bridgewater location.
Yeah.
For the full Fiesta.
Yeah. Black Hat Brew Works is a brewery right off of 104. As soon as you come in, like near Home Depot, that's a great place. Everybody loves it there.
I have not been there. I want to try it.
It's super cute. And in the summertime and into the fall, they have food trucks. So you should go on their Facebook page.
I wonder if you could do like a little event there.
I'm sure.
Yeah,
I'm sure. But a lot of people will frequent it depending on who the food truck is.
Yeah.
Everybody loves their food trucks.
Oh, yeah, I love a good food truck. Mary had food trucks at her wedding.
Yeah.
Prisco's Market, what's that?
Have you been to Prisco's?
No.
Oh my God. So Steve Prisco is, he still owns Steve's Lawn Care. So he is a huge Bridgewater, he's I don't think he's originally from Bridgewater, but he raised his family in Bridgewater, does a ton for the town, and he opened Prisco's years ago. I wish I knew when he opened, like over 10 years ago.
Yeah.
And it's like a feel good. You go in, there's like a lot of nostalgic, like penny candy and
I love
all
that.
sorts of stuff. And it's morphed into, and it used to be, he would sell some landscaping stuff there, and you could go get it. It was a nursery, but now he has mini golf, batting cages, ice cream, country creamery out front. He has, they have the ice cream place. It's like Disneyland in Bridgewater.
I think we need to go.
And his wife,
I told you that we have to
Nancy-
spend like a whole entire day in these towns. I mean, you live there, so it was very sort of like a no-brainer, all these businesses. But like the next town, we need to like hang out for the entire day. Steve's wife Nancy makes a mean meatball sub, and they started making pizza, and their pizza is phenomenal. Yeah. Well, so I know Sharon and Mary on closing day, they buy their buyers, pizza and soda, water, whatever, on their moving day. And I always try to find somebody who I know, like, who lives in the town that they have just purchased in, so I can ask them, hey, where's your favorite pizza from, or whatever. So I have to put that on the list for Bridgewater.
Oh, for sure. Yep. And then Peterson's Farm, we buy our Christmas tree there every. Oh no, I'm sorry. Peterson's Farm is the small one that is my favorite. That is right near the school.
Oh yeah.
And I literally was just there the other night because I needed one tomato. So Mrs. Peterson, I have her tomato sauce recipe. She's the cutest thing ever. It's a small little, I know he does like farmers markets in, I think, Middleborough, but this is like the OG little farm stand.
Cute.
Hanson Farm.
What? Sharon's saying the ice cream place.
Hanson Farm.
Farm, yeah.
So Hanson Farm is where I get my Christmas tree every year. It's a working farm, and right next door is
where is that located? Because I feel like
104. Like if you're going into, if you get off 104 where Home Depot is, keep going straight.
That's
it's on
exactly
the
where I thought it was. Yeah.
It's, and I forget, it's called it's Dairy. Sugar Hill Dairy is the ice cream place.
Wow, you are an expert in.
And then my absolute favorite is Chic Boutique Consignments, which is literally right off Route 104. As soon as you get off the exit, it's in between. There's a hair salon and a liquor store in D'Angelo's. And Chic Boutique
you can
is
hit
just
them
heaven
all
on
up.
earth.
You can hit them all up. Like get your hair done.
Yeah.
Do a little shopping.
My
grab
girl
a bottle
Ashley.
of wine and go home.
She has it's an upscale resale boutique that I used to work at one day a week and spend all my money, and just had so much fun. It's a great place to check out. And
well, you did an event there for your clients.
And I'm doing another.
Oh, you are? Can you give a little sneak peek?
Same idea.
Yeah. Well, nobody listening knows what the idea was.
Oh, Sip and Shop.
Yeah, it's a sip and shop.
Yeah. After the kids go back to school, like September. I think I'm going to try for October.
I think October would be great too, because like people get like seasonal depression. you know, they need to get out of the house. They need to like,
especially when we do that daylight time.
They need to do things, and I think having a little prosecco and going shopping, which I did attend your event last year. Yeah, last summer.
Hot.
Yeah, it was hot, but we were inside, so it didn't matter. Yeah. But I did attend your little event over there at Chic Boutique, and I definitely went shopping. Yeah. I had a couple drinks, so I went shopping.
Yeah, she's got some great stuff.
I loved it there. I want to go back. I've only been there once, but I do love it. And I know
you can shop
it
online. Oh, you know.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing. You have sent me things being like, oh, do you like this? And I say yes, but my bank account is saying no, because you know why? I'm buying a house. Or at least I'm trying. All right. Any other businesses you want to highlight? We only have about 5 minutes left.
Yep. Old Scotland Links. Golf course.
You can golf. Drop somebody off to go golfing, and then you can go shopping yourself.
Perfect. My boys have golfed at Old Scotland Links since I was little.
want to learn how to golf. So if anybody out there is listening and would love to teach me, I'm a 32-year-old woman who would like to add a hobby. I know, but I would love to like have it be a little bit more personable.
Maybe someone will get you that for you.
Oh, maybe. Golf lessons. I love it. All right. Old Cortland Links. Anything else? Bridgewater
Carver's
Center.
Pond, Honey. Brian and I take Honey up to Carver's Pond all the time. We walk the pond. It's another, just a great little, I don't think it's like maybe 2 miles, but it's a nice little, I would go up there by myself with the dog and just kind of walk around, and it's a great place. And then last but not least, my absolute favorite part of living in Bridgewater.
Yeah.
4th of July.
And why is that?
Because they have a fabulous, people come from all over for the fireworks. And they do, so Bridgewater State, although I'd have to check this, Bridgewater has a parade, and then you could go down to in front of, what's the big building at Bridgewater State that has like the grass in the front, where we did Autumn
Graduation?
Fest?
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God, I forget the name of it. But that's where they do graduation.
So in front of there where they do Autumn Fest, they would do like a 4th of July type of thing. And there would be face painting, and like you could buy food and all sorts of stuff.
Like a little fair.
Yep. And then you could spend the whole day. And then they do fireworks on Legion Field. And people come from everywhere because the fireworks are awesome.
Really?
It's all funded. Volunteers start every year the day after the fireworks, and they raise money, and it is an awesome, awesome, awesome time.
Yeah. And we did Autumn Fest a couple years ago. Yeah. You and I did. It was probably like your first or second year here. We represented Boston Connect Real Estate, and we had our own little booth. And was it Jake that helped us like put our little tent up? Owen helped us put our little tent up, and I mean, we had a really great time. We just got to mingle. I mean, you know everybody pretty much everywhere we go, but we were able to not only represent our company, Boston Connect Real Estate, but also mingle with some of the residents and everybody who was coming to the Autumn Fest. And we got to eat some great food too.
This year, the Flynns and I, we started talking about it last year, but I think once the winter slumber's over, we want to do a community cleanup day in Bridgewater. So we're going to try to do that.
Yeah. Oh, well, you'll have to let all of our listeners know. We'll probably have to do another, like, maybe Bridgewater's in a couple months when we're doing all these community things. But we only have a couple minutes left, so I want to make sure that we wrap up this with our final thoughts, and you give your contact information one more time to all of our listeners. So any other things that you feel like people should know about your wonderful town of Bridgewater?
I think we covered everything.
Okay.
It's a great little town if you're thinking of somewhere. It's a regional school district. It's Bridgewater Raynham Regional School District. It's really, Bridgewater is really a fantastic town. Whether you're the library place that I sold it to a couple that was newly married that just wanted to like walk around everywhere and wanted to be in the thick of like the center of Bridgewater, and so I feel like it just appeals to everybody. Yeah,
it really is a great town, and I know that you love it because you've been there for 20 plus years, or 20 years, and I know so many people who are either from that town or surrounding towns.
Wait, I just thought, I completely forgot the one restaurant that we were going to talk about. We didn't even talk about restaurant was Crispy's.
Oh, I've actually never eaten there.
Oh my gosh, Crispy's is so good, and that was like on the top of my list, but we got sidetracked.
Oh, well.
Yeah, you got to go see Laura at Crispy's. She makes a mean drink. She makes a really good Aperol Spritz.
Oh,
and
add it to the list.
Yep, the chicken Crispino is out of this world, and you got to go.
How can people get in touch with you if they want to move into Bridgewater or they want to know more about Bridgewater?
You can email me at kristen@bostonconnect.com. You can come into 19 Mattakesett Street. I'm usually here all the time. We can sit down and chat. Talk about Bridgewater. Talk about Real Housewives.
Talk about
anything.
Oh yeah, we can talk about my mother's going off about the Real Housewives right now.
There's some good stuff.
There's some good stuff going on. So if you want to talk about that, you can call us
617-448-4896. Feel free to call me.
You can go to bostonconnect.com, find all of our contact information there. You can go to Talk Real Estate Roundtable to listen to any of our past shows, or you can type in Talk Real Estate Roundtable to your podcast app. Thank you so much, Kristen.
Thank you.
And we have to do like a contest or something. We want to name this segment.
Yeah, stay tuned to where our next.
Yeah, we don't know what we're calling it yet, but we're having a good time. So we hope that you enjoyed it. Again, you're listening to Talk Real Estate Roundtable. I will be back on Saturday live with Sharon McNamara.
Thank you.
Thank you.